Perfect. And then did you say you wanted to pin me too before I start?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to you.
And I think I also need to be host.
I lost you. Wow, you can tell I have not done Zoom in a while. Let's see.
You go up to the 3 dots on my square, you should be able to hit the pin button.
Make host.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. And then I can just hit that. Perfect. Okay. Hi. For everybody who is watching the recording, you got a little intro there. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm excited to get to be here again with you all. I think the work that the Wheel With Me Foundation does is excellent. And so when they asked me to come on again, I was like, for sure. Just love the work that you guys are doing. And so, yeah, just grateful and excited to be here. Tonight, I really want to make this session and our time together really what you need. So, when they told me to come on and do some coaching and just talk about my coaching business, I was really given the reins. So, I want to make our time together really what you guys need out of tonight. I'm going to share my screen really quick. Let's see how good I am at this. I always mess it up, so we shall see. I'm going to share this and then go here. Okay, and then the present button. Let's see here. But we don't want to start there. Let's go here. Maybe. Okay, we're just gonna do a little backtrack. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, tonight we're gonna do some coaching. I know on the slide or on the thing you saw on Instagram, it said confidence coaching. So tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about confidence. We're going to touch on that of like, what does it mean to be confident? And I think we live in a society that often says we like arrive at a confidence destination. And I think that's a bunch of baloney. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And I'm also just going to talk to you tonight about what coaching is and what coaching is not, because I think we hear the word coach and many things come to mind. So before we would start, I would love if you would type in the chat maybe what you're looking to get out of tonight or why you even logged on in the first place. If you're just here for fun, if you were like, I want to learn about confidence, or you were like, what the heck is coaching? I want to know. So if you want to just type that in the chat, that way I know what kind of direction everybody wants to go, because we can change things up too as we go along. And Jackie, I think I see more people in the waiting room if you're able to see the waiting room. So let me look at the chat here. So definitely the confidence. Okay, love it. It gives me, we can definitely talk about that. The title caught my attention. Okay. Okay. Gaining self-love and confidence. Wanting to learn what coaching offers. Okay, so we're all about, we're all across the board. I'm here as a confidence life coach, ready to hear what you have to say. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll kind of go both avenues. That's kind of what I was planning and thinking, that we are going to kind of go. But at the end, I'll have an opportunity for you guys to ask questions as well. Anything you want to talk about, nothing is off limits. If you're like, hey, I want you to touch a little bit more on this, we'll go that route. So I'm excited. So let me see. There's another. Here as a board member, understanding issues that people are facing. Love it. Okay, amazing. Thank you all for participating in that chat. So first things first is like, what the heck is even coaching? Because when I heard the term coaching, I assumed like when I was a kid, like you have your basketball coach, you have your whatever coach. That's what I always thought coaching was. And when I heard the term life coaching, even like a year or two ago, I'm not going to lie, it made me cringe a little bit. And I think it's because I didn't fully understand what coaching was. I think we often hear from like life coaches that like they can change your life and yada yada yada. And I'm just not about that because if you receive coaching, you have to be willing to put in the work. And a coach, having a life coach, uh, quote unquote, is not going to change your life if you don't put in the work. And so basically, what even is coaching? So, coaching really helps people move forward in their calling and purpose. So, as a coach, specifically myself, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I am basically your guide as we journey through your life, as we work through maybe some things where you're finding yourself stuck. Currently, I would say I specialize coaching in the faith aspect realm of things. I'm certified through a company called Go and Tell Gals. But we very much am open to coaching in the secular space as well. But basically, my job is to just guide you on that journey wherever you find yourself getting stuck, or maybe that you're struggling with. And I think it's really important to emphasize that coaching is actions based. So, like, again, you can't expect to, just like if you are going to counseling for mental health, you can't expect to just grow and thrive just by showing up for your sessions. There's work involved in the in between. And so I think it's really important to say that coaching is actions based. I'm there to be your guide, but I'm not with you 24/7 to help you make decisions and to hold your hand. And so again, we can't grow if we don't put in the work. And I am basically, think of like your ultimate cheerleader or your hype woman or an hype man, whatever it is, that is what I am for you. But you also have to be willing to put in that work for sure. And um, so, um, so yeah, you have to be willing to put in the work and just guiding you through that process, calling things out in you, helping you craft goals. Really, the clients I coach, it varies. Some people I coach, they are really goals focused and they want to work on achieving certain goals. So then we work from there. Other people maybe need to talk through church trauma or family trauma or things that they went through to grow and transform them in the way that they need. So it really varies person to person. And I think it's also really important to note before we even move any further, coaching is not mentorship, and it's not advice giving. There might be certain times I realize I spelled the word advice wrong. Lovely, but we're human. And but it is not just me giving advice. During a coaching session, I may say, like, hey, am I able to speak advice into this? And you would say yes or no. And so obviously tonight we're a group. And so I do one-on-one coaching mainly. So this is a little different as well. And since we don't all know each other, we'll do a little taste of it tonight, but it would obviously be different if you were one-on-one with a coach. And coaching is also not instruction. Coaching is really pulling things out of you that you maybe want to discover yourself. And coaching is also not mental health therapy. So you can't say, oh, well, now I'm getting coaching once a month or whatever, so I'll stop seeing my therapist because I'm not a licensed mental health professional. And neither most coaches, I would say 99.9% of the time, are not mental health professionals either. Um, so, who is coaching for? So, I really think when it comes down to it, coaching is for everyone. I see a coach and I am a coach. I also see a therapist. I really think we all need those people in our lives that we can go to call us higher and to call us better. So a few things that I often see is coaching is for the one who feels stuck, the one who knows that they want to do X, Y, or Z, but needs someone. on their side to process with them, to help formulate action steps to figure out, okay, how do we move forward? And also, coaching can be for just the one who needs extra support. For someone who maybe has vision in their life and things that they want to do, but they need another voice to bounce ideas off of. They need some extra support in goal setting, and coming up with action steps. They need accountability. Um, so it can be either you feel really stuck or maybe you just need that extra support. And coaching is also for the person who is really goal driven and is ready to put in the work and has the vision and has the drive, but really just needs that voice of support and that person to come with a game plan, to help them move forward so it's not all on their shoulders. And like I said, from the beginning, coaching is for everyone. Everyone can benefit from coaching. We never arrive at like, oh, I don't need any more coaching or counseling in our lives. We all need support, and we all need those outside voices that aren't our friends or our parents, to really lift us up. And especially in the disability community, I right now my focus is the disability community, and I think this is so important now more than ever, is like to have somebody to just go to who is also disabled and is like, hey, I need support in XYZ area. And often in the disability community especially, I mean, even like 10 years ago, social media didn't really exist and it wasn't as popular as it is now. And I just remember as a kid, I grew up with my diagnosis. I guess I didn't give you guys a formal introduction. I can do that. But I grew up with my diagnosis. And so I didn't really have support and mentors and coaches and people to look up to. And so, yeah, I think if I could go back and tell younger Renee that people out there now exist, it would have been a game changer for me. And so just having someone to speak into your life, and help you through some of those adulting with a disability or just living life with a disability, someone to process that with who actually gets it versus like you just find, anybody off the street. They're not gonna understand it. So before I move any further, I'll give just a little intro, because I totally didn't do that. I'm sorry. But my name is Renee, obviously. Hi. I live in Columbus, Ohio. I'm the founder of Even If Ministries, which I love dearly. But then through that, my coaching business is launching in like 2 weeks. So it's a crazy time over here. Just really developed a passion for watching women specifically be transformed. I am a BBS mentor also for the rolettes. And so mentorship is very different from coaching. But I love to mentor girls as well. And that really started working with the rolettes and being a mentor. Really lit a fire under me of like, oh, I really love doing this. I really love watching people's lives changed and helping them get there. And so Shannon on the call tonight is actually someone I mentor for BBS. And so it's cool to see her here tonight. But yeah, mentorship and coaching, they're similar in a lot of ways, but they are also different. So that's what first kind of developed my excitement for coaching. And I'm going to read the chat. Yeah, be the coach you needed to be when you were younger. And what is BBS? That's a great question. It's the Rolex Dance Team, their mentorship program. So it's a great program for women with disabilities to reach their goals and find community. I can put at the end too, I can put the Boundless Babe Society Instagram in the chat, and you can follow along and see what we're up to. And also, technically, I'm not, if you are a male on this call and you need some coaching, I am open to coaching you if that is something that you would be interested. I know a lot of these, like, My ministry is just for women, and I know Roulette's is mainly for women. So I know the men who are here, you may feel a little left out sometimes. So just wanted to throw that out there. But that is a little about me, and yeah, just exactly what was said in the chat. Like, I want to be able to provide what I wasn't given when I was younger and going through some of those transitions. Okay, so I know some people said on here, like, tonight what they want to get out of tonight is learning a little bit about confidence. Now, I will be transparent with you. I am not a confidence expert, okay? I just have a passion for talking about confidence and growing in confidence, because I truly believe when we're confident, it changes everything. And I want to just make a disclaimer really quick. You are never, ever, 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 ever going to be confident 100% of the time. Okay. Even myself and so many other people who preach on confidence, there are always going to be times where we doubt, where we struggle. And so I just want to throw that out there. It's like, you will never arrive at being fully confident. That doesn't exist. It will ebb and flow. There will be certain times in your life where you are really sure of yourself, and you know who you are, and you can show up into spaces. But that doesn't mean you're going to show up everywhere you go and be like, yes, this is amazing. And I hear a lot of people say, well, just fake it till you make it. And I have mixed feelings about that statement. I can see the good that comes from it, and I recognize that, but I also see the harm that comes from that statement, because I truly believe when we are the most confident version of ourselves is when we show up authentically who we are. And in that moment, if that's not like owning it, like you're all that, then that's what it is. And we're human, we're gonna make mistakes. We're not always gonna be like on it all the time. I mean, you guys saw it on this PowerPoint firsthand. There's probably a million grammatical errors on this PowerPoint, because I am human, and I'm not going to lie, I did this PowerPoint 3 hours ago. And so there are times where you might not feel like all that in a bag of chips, and that is okay. And so I don't want you to leave here tonight being like, I have to be confident 100% of the time, because that's not it. But how we show up matters, and we do have control on how we show up in certain situations. And so I literally got this definition off of Google, so it's nothing special, but we can talk about it a little bit. Is confidence is the feeling of belief or trust that a person or thing is reliable. Self-confidence is trust in oneself. So basically, when I think of confidence, I think of being deeply rooted in your identity, that regardless of what somebody says to you, regardless of how something goes all the time, you can show up authentically, knowing that you gave it 100% of yourself, and trusting that you have things to offer in this world. I think when we start to derail from confidence is when we start to believe the little lies in our head that tell us, like, oh, you don't have anything to bring to the table, or oh, people are going to think you're this, or oh, people are going to think you're that. And I always say to the people I coach and mentor, I say naming it is 90%. So if you can name, like, let's say you are really anxious about going in to this party you're going to, and you're afraid everybody's going to look at you or think you're weird, or I don't know, name it for yourself. But when you name of like, okay, why am I anxious? Why am I nervous to show up to this space? And you aren't able to physically name it, you are already doing 90% of the work. And then from that, you can show up and be your true self. So those are just some tips I have. So let's do a little confidence scale. I love the good 1 to 10 scale. So 10 being you feel super fine fly, and that I could throw you up on TV right now and you'd kill it, okay? And you would be so sure of yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you currently in the current season of life you're in? Like, how confident are you that you can show up in a room and be your authentic self, and be okay with that? So, if you guys feel comfortable, you can go ahead. You can either just drop a number in the chat or you can drop like a little statement of why you feel you're that on the scale. And again, our time together tonight is going to look a lot different than a normal coaching session. That's because we all don't know each other and we are in a group. So, okay, I love these. Okay, 9, love it. 9.75. Okay, Tony. 3, 6, 6, 6, 8, 7. Okay. Awesome. I love the honesty and all of those things. So now I want to take whatever number you chose, whether that was a super high number, like a 9.75, or a 2, or even a 1, and say, what would I think to yourself right now? You don't have to put this in the chat or announce it to anybody, but based on that number, what is going really well for me? What is working? Why did I choose that number? Maybe I chose that number because I'm able to show up for myself like never before. Amazing. We praise that. But what is something that you would like if you were living at a 10 out of 10, where would you like to see room for improvement? And I'm here to tell you that even if you put a 9.75, okay, that shows that there's room for improvement. So if you feel comfortable, you can put in the chat of like where you would like to see improvement. I would love to hear that if something comes to mind for you of what would you like to see change. Maybe there's something you feel like you need to conquer or work through, and how you show up. Tony is the overachiever. Oh my goodness. Love it. So feel free to drop in the chat as well, like something that you would like to see better. Loving myself the way people love me. Yeah, that's so real. And I honestly think that takes a lifetime to truly achieve. And we will always be our worst critic of ourselves. And I think, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but when our identity is deeply rooted, I think that's where things start to shift. Okay, I will keep going. If you guys have something you want to put in there, feel free to drop it in the box. Okay, so now that we have our number chosen, as we move forward, I want you to just think to yourself, constantly ask yourself, like, okay, what am I really liking about where I'm at, and what do I want to see shift in my life? I think those are constant questions that we should not only be asking ourselves tonight, but daily throughout the week, throughout the month of like, where do I want to see improvement? What is going really well? What is not serving me? What is not working right now? And I see that there are some more messages in the chat. First, there's always room for improvement. I personally need to get some demons out of my head. Don't we all? Don't we all? I'm doing a lot of self-reflection and want to feel comfortable sharing what I am discovering about myself with others. Yeah, I mean, when we do reflection and we discover who we are, at first it's really uncomfortable at times to own who we are and to also feel confident enough to share that with others. And so I think the fact that you're even doing that reflection and that time of really looking inward, I think that is so important for sure, and you're on the right track. So again, there's always going to be room for improvement. You are never going to arrive. And so if you just think out of tonight that you're going to leave this call feeling so confident in yourself, that is a lie. I hate to break it to you, but how can we improve our confidence? How can we move forward? So knowing your identity as a human and what you bring to this world is huge. Knowing that you have a purpose here on this earth. I will be just straight up and tell you guys that I am Christian. Like, that is my biggest identity. I will tell people all the time that I love Jesus, because that's who I am, and I carry that identity with me. For you, that may look different, and there is no judgment in that or shame. I welcome that in this space. But knowing your identity, whatever looks like for you, whether your disability is your biggest identity, or maybe your religion, or maybe not your religion, but knowing your identity and what you bring to this world gives you a huge confidence booster. Because when your identity is deeply rooted and you know what you bring to the world, what you have to offer, it changes everything. If it personally wasn't for my faith, well, one, I would probably not be going into coaching, because I'd probably be doing something totally different. So when we know who we are and what we have to bring to the table, it's a game changer. And I'm going to read the chat because I see that it's, okay, I'm a follower too. I love it. I love it. Okay, amazing. Tonight I wanted to make sure, obviously, that I brought up my faith, but I also know not everybody here may be a Christian, so I wanted to welcome that as well. My confidence in dating. Oh, sister, we could talk about dating. That's a whole nother topic. But when I will say this, when you know who you are, when you're deeply rooted in who you are, that makes dating easier, because you won't just settle for the, anybody who gives you a like or whatever. Knowing what you bring to the world. Amen. Yeah, I think that's our biggest cry, honestly, right now as a culture, is like purpose. And when we don't know our purpose and what we bring to the world, there's crisis, let me tell you. And so that is really, if you want to know tonight how to improve your confidence, sit down and ask yourself, okay, what matters to me? What is important to me? What do I value? Asking yourself, what do you value? I would recommend journaling that as well, because then everything from what you value will shift off of that. So, for example, the first thing I value is my faith. That is forever going to be the first thing. And then maybe the second thing is my friendships and relationships. Okay, well, then I know that my faith will always come first, and then my relationships with others comes after that. So then you're able to prioritize what matters most to you. This question is one of my faves, and if you struggle with fear or anxiety of showing up in a certain situation, I recommend that you write this down. Is, what is the worst thing that can happen if I pursue this avenue? I think I struggle even to this day of meeting new people at times, or going into new settings, asking myself, what is the worst thing that can happen, Renee, if you do this new thing, has really, really helped me. And then another thing to just improve confidence is speaking affirmations over yourself. Okay. And so getting things on your wall or sticky notes on your mirror of like whatever you feel like you need to hear and be reminded of your identity. So whatever speaks to your identity. And again, ways to improve confidence, coaching or therapy and therapy. And also just investing in yourself, investing in your growth. That was the best thing I ever did for myself, was invest in myself. Yes, does it cost money? It doesn't always have to. There's resources that are free, but it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take having to say no to certain other things that maybe you would have said yes to before. And I'm gonna read the chat. My faith is my number one, and my wife is a close second. I love it. Or get it tattooed on your forehead. Yes. That's a funny joke that I always say when there's something really important that you need to remember, is I joke, get it tattooed on your forehead. And so just those reminders that we constantly need to remember. So That is how we can improve our confidence. There are so many other avenues too. I mean, you can find every self-help book out there, but there's a difference between reading something and truly believing it in your soul. Like a self-help book, again, these books that are like, this book will change your life. That is a bunch of bogus. Okay. Um, Great if it speaks to you in any way, amazing, but a book is not going to change your life. Sorry to break it to you, but um, okay, I think that's all I had. And so if you guys have questions or things you want to add, really quick before we go into questions, I'll just share like what's next. If you were like, hey, I really enjoyed tonight. Like I really think coaching with Renee is something that I would like to pursue. If that's you, amazing. My business technically is not launched yet, but I am connecting with people and getting, if you actually go to my website, you could book a session today. It's just very much on the um, down low. And so for anybody who reaches out to me before my business launch, say you send me a message on Instagram or you shoot me an email, you can actually book a free discovery call with me, a 15-minute call to figure out if coaching is something you would like to pursue. I have some clients who coach with me one time and that's it. And we do an hour call. Or I have regular clients who I see bi-weekly or monthly to work through things with. I offer 30-minute sessions and then 60-minute sessions. So if that is something you're interested with, please feel free to reach out to me. On my website, you can directly book that way, or you can contact me on Instagram or email just to say hi, and I would be happy to chat with you as well. So that is my contact info. If you want to like take a picture of it or have it, you totally can do that. But I feel like I've connected with a good chunk of you guys already, which is awesome. But that is my info. So from there, if there's any questions, I'm going to stop my share. Um, okay, just to be, I'll let you guys know the payment. So for a 30-minute session, it's $50, and an hour session, it's 100. And then for some of my longer term clients who are saying like, hey Renee, I want to work with you for 6 months or a year, they get a discount because obviously they're working with me for a longer period of time. So if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to just unmute if that works. Or yeah, we can just have a little discussion. If you don't, then we can end early. We can see what the vibe is. Um, okay, yeah, for sure. You can feel free to shoot me an email. And I would be happy to connect with you. I'll put my email again in the chat. Um, just in case you guys um need that.
How did you go to coaching? How did you come up with that or go that direction?
I love that question so much because it's so bizarre. So I graduated undergrad last April, so almost a year ago. I remember getting out of college. I have a degree in human services and psychology. And I remember being like, I do not want to work at a desk job for the rest of my life. I want to have freedom in my schedule and all the things. And I really wanted to, obviously, I think we all as humans want to make a change in the world. And so it was so funny. So I saw this life coach certification through Go and Tell Gals, which I told you guys about at the beginning. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so cool. But like, I would never do this, like just getting out of college and yada, yada, yada. But one night I was literally so bored that I filled out the application. I was literally like, well, I'm bored. And then I got accepted, and then the rest is history, and then just fell in love with it. And again, I think what I mentioned, like, through my work with the roulettes, I realized how much I loved just like helping people work through things. And so I think it was a hodgepodge of a bunch of different things, but it was kind of totally an accident, not even gonna lie. Like applying for it and everything moving forward. And even when I started the program, started my certification, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But then, yeah, it's just been so evident. And it's crazy how, like, my ministry and my coaching, they go together in so many ways. So that has been really cool. That's a great question. Anybody else have anything? Um, Honestly, I think how you can become an advocate or coach for people with disabilities and or Christians to just start is being the voice that you already are on social media and in life. We're an advocate by just what we put out in the world. And if you'd want to ever coach people, there are um so many coaching certifications out there that you could partake in. A lot of them, I will say, are an investment and take a lot of work. But yes, oh, I love this question, Chris. Do you work with both disabled and non-disabled? Are there particular disabilities you prefer to work with? It's such a great question. I am very open and passionate about working with non-disabled people as well. I would say my wheelhouse and just my connection through my ministry and everything is disabled women specifically. In terms of like diagnosis, I think obviously physical is the one that having cerebral palsy, have I have the most experience and can offer the most in those realms, but also I've had experience working with people with intellectual disabilities as well. So it really varies, but also am passionate about helping non-disabled people. But I feel like my general population ends up being people with disabilities because that's what I have and that's what I specialize in. Probably better related to others who are also, yeah, for sure. So I'm able, I think, relating better to physically disabled people, but am not like opposed to working with someone who has an intellectual disability as well. But yeah, that's a great question. Um, okay, amazing. Well, I will, if there's any other questions, if you want to pop them in the chat, but if not, so good talking with you guys tonight, and I'm just grateful to get to chat with you all. So, yeah,
Thank you so much, Renee.
of course.
Yeah. So does Tony has his hand raised. Did you have a question, Tony?
Oh no, I was just doing the clapping reaction.
Oh,
Oh,
I love it.
okay, my bad. I
Yeah,
missed
that was just a clapping reaction. Thank you so much, Renee. That was a great presentation and synopsis of how to really get some confidence. I like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I love using the reactions on the Zoom screen. It's so fun. Um, awesome, awesome. Well, again, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time to learn, and I hope you guys enjoy if you're attending the other sessions that they're hosting this week. I hope you find them informative and yeah, you just learn a lot.
Yes, so we do have 3 more days. Or yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Definitely check those out if you're not signed up already. Um, and if there are no more questions, I don't want to get off too quickly. But if there are no more questions, we can definitely end. Oh, Shannon would like to know, how do I sign up? How do you sign up for Empowerment Week, or how do you sign up to work with Renee? Empowerment Week. So it's the same link, or it's kind of the same link that you use to sign up for this week. You'll get an email at the end of this session, and there should be more links provided to sign up for the rest of the week. Okay. But yeah, thank you
Thank
all
you.
for coming, and I hope you all have a good evening, and we will see you back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay.